Let's jump right into the first game on this list, and that's Just Cause 3, a game that's basically the digital equivalent of strapping yourself to a rocket and lighting the fuse. If you're looking for a chill, laid-back gaming experience, well, this ain't it. But if you're all about causing chaos, pulling off insane stunts, and liberating an entire nation while you're at it, then buckle up. Just Cause 3 drops you into the beautiful Mediterranean island nation of Medici. It's picturesque, serene, and under the brutal control of a dictator. The main character, Rico Rodriguez, is not your typical video game protagonist. Sure, he wants to save the day and all that, but he's gonna do it in the most explosive way possible. Rico's got a grappling hook, a parachute, and a wingsuit, making him a one-man army capable of gravity-defying feats. The grappling hook isn't just for getting around either. You can use it to tether enemies together, attach them to exploding barrels, or just yank them off their feet. The possibilities are hilariously endless. The core of Just Cause 3 is destruction. This game takes blowing stuff up and turns it into an art form. Bridges, statues, fuel tanks, military bases, you name it. You can probably destroy it. And the game encourages you to do so in the most creative ways possible. Ever wanted to attach a rocket to a cow and see what happens? You can do that. Feel like taking down a helicopter with a sports car? Go for it. The more chaos you cause, the more you destabilize the dictator's regime. What's really amazing about the game is the freedom that it gives you. There's a story, sure, but if you want to spend hours just flying around in your wingsuit, that's totally fine. The game doesn't just tolerate player creativity, it kind of celebrates it. You're given a massive sandbox and a bunch of toys, and the game just says, go nuts. Aside from the main missions and liberating towns, there are a ton of side activities to keep you busy. Racing challenges, wingsuit courses, and destruction frenzies are just a few examples. Completing these challenges earns you gear mods, which lets you customize Rico's abilities like making your grappling hook faster or your explosions bigger. If you're the type of gamer who loves freedom, exploration, and creative chaos, then Just Cause 3 is like hitting the jackpot. It's not just about the action, it's about the joy of experimentation. The game constantly asks, what if? And then encourages you to find out the answer in the most over-the-top way possible. In a gaming landscape filled with serious and gritty titles, Just Cause 3 is a breath of fresh air. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it doesn't expect you to either. It's the kind of game you play when you just want to unwind and blow off some steam, literally and figuratively. It's a really fun game, so go check it out. Let me tell you about the next game on the list, but first, let's learn about a cool new Steam Deck accessory from this video sponsor.
The virtual keyboard on the Steam Deck can get really annoying. Going through the desktop mode and installing workarounds pretty much requires plugging in an actual mouse and keyboard. But this can be very cumbersome and doesn't even plug directly into the Steam Deck. Don't do that, do this instead. This is the Decktop from Misc, a Bluetooth trackpad and keyboard that attaches directly to your Steam Deck. No adapters required. The keyboard can be easily connected wirelessly to your Steam Deck and provide both mouse and keyboard support, all in a portable package. The kickstand mount has 360-degree swivel so you can view your deck at any angle, as well as low latency key switch support so you can actually use this for gaming on the go. The keyboard also has backlight support with multiple colors supported, so you can use your deck in the dark without any issues. If you want to get the Decktop, head to the link in the video description and use code JASON10 to get 10% off your order. That's JASON10 to get 10% off your Decktop to turn your Steam Deck into a real laptop replacement.
So you've definitely heard about One Step from Eden, right? It's a super fun game that kind of mashes together the intensity of real-time battles with the brain-teasing fun of deck builders. Think of it as playing a supercharged version of chess, but with explosions, magic, and a ton of on-the-fly strategizing. Here's the gist of combat. You're on this grid, dodging and weaving through enemy attacks while trying to land your own. It's all about staying on your toes and making split-second decisions. Every round, the game throws a bunch of spells and artifacts at you, and you get to pick and choose to create your ideal deck. Want to go all out with powerful attacks? Or maybe keep things flexible with a mix of spells? It's your call. The variety is insane, meaning you can try a new strategy every time you play. No two runs are ever the same, keeping things fresh and exciting. The backdrop to all this action is a world that's seen better days, with each area you fight through adding its own flavor to the mix. It's not just about the fights though. The game's got a bunch of characters you'll run into, each with their own stories. Your choices can make or break these relationships, adding a nice little layer of drama to your quest. What really spices things up is the roguelike element. Every attempt at reaching Eden is a whole new adventure. New enemies, spells, and challenges keep you guessing and forcing you to adapt. It's the kind of game that can be difficult as hell, but in a way that makes finally nailing it all the more satisfying. The game's also got multiplayer modes where you can team up with a buddy or go head to head. It's a blast either way, adding a whole new level of fun and friendly competition to the mix. At its heart, One Step from Eden is all about quick thinking, strategic planning, and making the most out of the chaos thrown your way. Whether you're a hardcore strategist or just looking for some high energy action, there's something here for you. It's the kind of game that keeps you coming back for more, always offering something new to discover and master. And honestly, it's just a really fun ride. The mix of intense action, deep strategy, and unpredictable roguelike elements makes every run feel like a new adventure. And who doesn't love the thrill of putting together the perfect deck and pulling off some sick wins? So if you're in the mood for something that's a bit different from your usual game, One Step from Eden might just be your next big obsession. Alright, let's steer right into Buck Up and Drive, a game that's as wild and unpredictable as it sounds. Imagine grabbing an old school arcade racing game, tossing in a dash of fighting game flair, and then cranking the whole thing up to 11. That's pretty much what you're getting here, and it's an absolute blast. First things first, Buck Up and Drive isn't your typical racing game. Sure, you're still trying to be the fastest, but it's not just about crossing the finish line first. This game throws in some wild stunts and car combat that makes every race feel like a blockbuster action movie scene. Ever wanted to do a barrel roll over your opponent or smack them out of the race with a well-timed attack? Here's where you can live out those fantasies. You're not just racing on regular roads. These tracks twist, turn, and defy the laws of physics. And because the game loves to keep things fresh, the environments are procedurally generated, meaning you can't just memorize the track and cruise to victory. You've got to be on your toes, ready for whatever crazy curve the game throws at you next. Now let's talk about the combat, because that's where Buck Up and Drive really shakes things up. This isn't about nudging your opponent off the road. It's about full-on battles with cars that feel like they've been lifted from a fighting game. Each vehicle has its own set of moves, and mastering these is key to knocking out the competition and dominating the race. It's this mix of racing and combat that gives the game its unique flavor. You're not just trying to outdrive your opponents, you're trying to outfight them too. And when you land that perfect hit that sends them spinning out of your way, it feels ridiculously satisfying. The game offers a pretty cool selection of cars, each with its own look, feel, and fighting moves. You can customize your ride, tweaking it to suit your style both in terms of appearance and performance. You want a car that looks like a neon-drenched dream? You got it. Prefer something that hits like a tank? Well, that's doable too. The single-player mode is great for honing your skills and unlocking new cars and customization options. But if you're looking to mix it up with friends, the local multiplayer mode is where it's at. Docking your deck, then racing and battling it out on the couch brings back that old school arcade vibe, making it perfect for game nights. Honestly speaking, Buck Up and Drive is a breath of fresh air in the racing game genre. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, and that is part of its charm. The game is all about having a good time, whether you're pulling off insane stunts, duking it out with other cars, or just marveling at the sheer absurdity of the tracks. So if you're looking for a racing game that breaks the mold and doesn't skimp on excitement, Buck Up and Drive is definitely worth checking out. This next game originally came out over 20 years ago, but this remastered version brings it into the modern era, and it's just as fun now as it was back then. If you've never played a Final Fantasy game before, don't worry. They don't have any real connections to each other, so you can pick up this one and still get the whole story. At its heart, Final Fantasy VIII is a tale about Squall Leonhardt, this brooding teen who's more about action than words. He's training to become a Seed at Balam Garden, a sort of elite mercenary academy. The game kicks off with Squall and his pals getting tangled up in a world of political intrigue, ancient sorceresses, and a resistant movement that's fighting to free the world from tyranny. The game has traditional turn-based combat, but has some unique gameplay systems. The junction system is really fun once you get the hang of it. You'll be drawing magic from enemies in the environment, then junctioning these spells to your stats. You want to hit harder or run faster? Junction the right magic to boost your strength or speed. Then there's the Guardian Forces, or GFs, powerful summons that you can call upon in battle. These aren't just flashy attacks, they're essential to your character's growth. You'll need to manage them wisely, leveling them up and customizing their abilities to fit your playstyle. And let's not forget Triple Triad, the card game within the game. It's so well designed and fun that it could stand on its own as a separate game. Collecting cards and challenging NPCs is surprisingly addictive. One of the best parts of FF8 is its cast. Each character has a distinct personality and backstory that gets explored throughout the game. Their interactions, growth, and the dynamics of their relationships add depth to the story. Watching Squall evolve from a lone wolf into a leader who cares deeply about his friends is genuinely satisfying. Now about the remastered part. The visuals have been given a significant upgrade. Character models are sharper and more detailed, making those iconic scenes even more memorable. It's not just a fresh coat of paint either. It brings the world of Final Fantasy VIII to life in a way that's both nostalgic for veterans and impressive for newcomers. The quality of life improvements are a big plus too. Features like the ability to speed up gameplay, turning off random encounters, or boost your HP and ATB gauge make the game more accessible, especially for those who might be put off by the grindier aspects of older RPGs. In a nutshell, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered is a beautifully adapted version of a classic, inviting you to lose yourself in a world once again, or for the very first time. So why not give it a shot? Jump into the world of FF8 and let Squall and company take you on a journey full of intrigue, drama, and epic battles. Alright, let's chat about the Trine series. Those gorgeously crafted games that are a blend of puzzle solving, platforming, and fantasy adventuring. If you're into games that feel like you're diving into a magical storybook, then the Trine games are right up your alley. So at the heart of the Trine series, you've got 3 very different characters: Amadeus the Wizard, Zoya the Thief, and Pontius the Knight. Each of them brings something unique to the table. Amadeus can conjure objects out of thin air, Zoya's got a grappling hook and a bow, and Pontius, well, he smashes things really well. They're thrown together by fate, and a bit of magic, to embark on a journey that's packed with danger, puzzles, and a whole lot of gorgeous scenery. First off, the visuals are stunning. We're talking about the kind of game where you might just stop moving for a bit to take in the scenery. Forests, castles, caverns, it's all rendered in this vibrant, detailed style that makes you feel like you're a part of the living, breathing world. Then there's the gameplay. Trine nails the cooperative aspect, letting you switch between characters on the fly to solve puzzles. Need to get across a wide gap? Maybe Amadeus can conjure a plank, Zoya can swing across, or Pontius can just bash through an obstacle. The puzzles are clever, requiring you to think about how to use the trio's abilities in tandem. As you move from Trine to Trine 2, and then to Trine 3, etc., you'll notice how the series evolves. The core gameplay, puzzle solving, platforming, and fighting baddies, remains solid throughout, but each game brings something new to the table. Trine 3 tried to shake things up by adding a 3D element to the gameplay, which was a big leap from the 2D platforming of its predecessors. It was a bold move that got mixed reactions, but you've got to give it to Frozenbyte for trying something new. The game still delivers on the series' promise of a magical adventure, and the visuals are still breathtaking. Trine 4 and 5 later kept the 2D tradition alive and are just as good as ever. Playing through the Trine games feels a bit like being a part of a fairy tale. The storytelling is top-notch, with narration that adds to the whimsical vibe. The music really kills it too. It's the kind of soundtrack that perfectly complements the game's fantasy world, enhancing the overall experience. But beyond the aesthetics and the mechanics, what really makes the Trine series stand out is the sense of adventure it evokes. Solving puzzles, exploring enchanting environments, and overcoming obstacles with the trio feels rewarding in a way that keeps you coming back for more. It's not just about getting to the end, it's about the journey there and the fun you have along the way. So if this sounds intriguing to you, definitely pick up one of the Trine games. There's like 5 of them out right now, and they're all pretty good. Have you ever played any of these games? Did I miss any games you think should be on this list? Let me know in the comments below, and click on the screen to go to the entire Best Steam Deck Games playlist. My name is Jason. Thanks for watching.